So, Mark, you are sort of the gateway to a lot of Magic the Gathering artists. You manage a few of them. You're the agent to a few of them, and you travel with a few of them as well. So, tell me about the artists you work with.
Well, there's a whole lot of them. Mainly the two guys that I'm always with at the shows is Dan Frazier and Doug Schuler, and then sometimes Greg Staples, Nils Ham, and that's really the guys that I go out on the road with.
This episode of Eternal Durdles is sponsored by Cardmill, the first automated scanner and sorter built specifically for trading card game players. With its intentionally compact design, Cardmill uses AI-powered recognition to identify each card and sync inventory with real-time pricing, batching up to 300 cards at a time by name, set, color, or type. Collection data is securely stored in the Cardmill network, giving players full access to their cards through an easy-to-use web portal. Cardmill supports Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Flesh and Blood, Disney Lorcana, Star Wars Unlimited, and many more to come. Created by software engineer and longtime Magic the Gathering player Jonathan Dumanis, Cardmill launches on July 22nd on Kickstarter with early bird pricing starting at $350. Backers receive lifetime access to all software updates and new features. Go to cardmill.com to learn more and reserve your path to the future of card sorting. So so you do a lot of sort of managing their signing services and stuff like that as well. What do you think is the most of the work that you do as far as the signing services and stuff like that are concerned?
Well, the work that I do is mainly being the pretty face. My daughter, who works for me, she does all the grunt work, the hard work. But when it comes to my signing service, yeah, we'll take you on a little tour.
Oh yeah,
We'll get
great,
out of. I'll take you to where it all happens.
amazing.
All right. Well, we're in my office now, and I'll give you a shot of this is all the artists that we work with. Each each artist has a box.
Okay,
See, and then
amazing.
when the cards come back from the artist, they go in the people section. Everyone has a name, all the collectors. So this way, when they ask me, Mark, what cards do I have back? And we go there, we tell them, and then they let us know if they want a shipping or whatever. And that's what we do. That's the
Amazing.
main thing. But see, my daughter does when all the cards come in the mail. That's her. She does it. She takes them out. She adds them up. She messages everybody how much they owe. She puts them in the artist boxes, and then we usually ship to the artist once a year.
So she does all of the scut work, all of the like
We call it the grunt work.
organizing and yeah.
Yes, yes. And then we usually do signings with the artist once a year, unless there's an event like a Magic Con. And especially the recent Magic Cons have gotten pretty much insane, with 60 artists. So then again, that's even more work for my daughter because then my daughter has to pull everything, count everything, make a full counting of how many regular signatures, how many shadow signatures there are. She packages them for each artist and has all the information written on either the boxes or the envelopes of what's in there, how many cards for each, and stickers them with my name, address, and email and phone number in case the artists need to, contact me. And a lot of the times, especially the Magic Cons, they're so ridiculous. The artists, they have no time to sign the cards, so they take them home with them, and then they mail them back to me. And then the rest is just my normal, usually the 1st and the 15th of the month are due dates, and we'll have anywhere from 10 to 15 artists due on each of the due dates. And
How long have you been doing this for?
Well, what happened was I had a retail comic book store that I opened in 1992. And right from the beginning, I used to bring in a lot of comic artists to do signings in my store. It was very popular.
I mean, as a former comic book guy in the 90s, like working in a shop, that was a great way to get people to come into the shop.
Well, yeah. We did super well. We hosted the Extreme Tours one time with Rob Liefeld,
Of course.
and there was about 6 guys that came. It was pretty wild. We had Sam Keith, Joe Quesada, Jim Palmiotti.
Nice.
And Joe Quesada ended
If you
up
had
becoming.
Palmiotti and Casada, you probably had Amanda Connors in there as well.
No.
No,
This was
well
before
before.
Amanda, really.
Okay.
Yeah, this was before Amanda. This is back in 1993, 94.
Yeah, yeah.
But
She was still
you
working
know,
on Gargoyles then, I bet.
yeah, and Quesada, this is before he was the head of Marvel, pretty much. You know, he was doing that was the Valiant time when
Oh
he was
wow.
doing a lot of the Valiant. Like Bloodshot and Exo Man of War, so that stuff kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're relatively local. I'm on Long Island, and Jimmy is from Brooklyn, and Joe was living in Manhattan. So it was nice. They they came out to the signing, and then after we closed, the three of us played Mortal Kombat for about 3 hours till like 1 a.m. in the morning at my store.
Nice.
So that's how it started. And then the signature thing at that time, there was. I don't know if you remember Dynamic Forces, the company that came out that did like all the limited editions, and you always saw them on the Home Shopping Network. They
Of
were selling
course.
their stuff where the guys were lying through their teeth. Oh, we put these together. No, you didn't. You called Dynamic Forces and you ordered 100 sets. That's what happened. You
Yeah.
didn't do any work. That actually started to die off, and the signature thing kind of went down. I've been a big fan of artwork all my life, starting with Frank Frazetta, seeing my first Frazetta painting on the side of a van back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And being, oh my God, that's freaking, amazing. So I was carrying prints for a lot of the artists, like RK Post and Matt Kavoda and several of the artists. And I never thought to bring an artist for Magic into the store. And then one day, K Post had put up on Facebook that he was signing in a store. I just never thought that would happen. I thought they would just do, GPs back then and stuff like that. So I messaged Randy, who I was very close with, and I asked him, would you come and do a signing at my store? He said, hell yeah, of course I would. You just got to fly me there and give me a place to stay. So then I thought about it. I said, let me think about it. I'm like, would it bring in enough business, the difference, to warrant doing that? And then I thought, well, I have a guest room. He could stay in my house. And I have about 500,000 air miles with United that I could fly him in for free. So it really wouldn't cost me anything, And so I did, and it was super successful. He came to me at the end of the show, at the end of the event, and said, Mark, I got to tell you, I made as much at your store as I make at most GPs. Because
Nice.
I heavily promote, like the second he got there, whatever proofs he's doing, I'm putting them online. So it's not just selling at my store, I'm selling them all over the world. So after RK had left, I said, okay, well, who's next? Who do we get that's next? And then my first thought is, well, let's go to the top. Chris Rush. Let's go get Chris Rush. But then I found out, okay, well, Chris Rush had an agent, Jeff Ferrara. And I'd have to fly both of them in. And I only have one guest room with one bed, which would mean, okay, now I got to get a hotel room. So now there's all of a sudden costs involved. So I said, well, who's next? And I said, oh, Dan Frazier. Dan Frazier did 5 of the Power 9, not just one. So, and this was really back, I'd say Facebook was in its relative infancy, kind of back in whatever, 2012-ish or something like that. Like it
People were
wasn't.
still writing on each other's walls and poking each other and stuff.
Yeah. And it was back when I thought I would barely ever use Facebook. That's not something I would use. And so I got his email and I emailed him, and I would always use New York as a draw. I say, well, why don't you come in early, or stay a couple days late and maybe go into Manhattan. So then he had asked, well, he and his wife had been to New York, but never together. Would he be able to bring his wife? And I said, hell yeah, we'll trade. So we ended up trading artwork for me to get
Amazing.
his wife the extra ticket. And I got them a hotel and tickets to see, they wanted to see Spider-Man, the play. It was on Broadway. So I got that. And that was really the first, because at the end, Dan said, Mark, I really enjoyed working with you. He made a lot of money and we built a relationship. And he asked me if I would work with him, as a full-time thing. Then a month later, he went to Sicily to do an event. where he met Vulcan Baga. Vulcan was there doing the event, and Vulcan said to him, he said, I wish I had somebody to help me sell my art and my proofs because I have no time. He said, I got a guy for you. And that's how I got Vulcan. And then everything, started from there, where I started getting guys. And as you just recently interviewed Brian, I worked with Brian for a long time, and I love him. Brian's, been to my house several times. He went on my slide, my pool. He was the Wackwitz Mitzel.
That's great.
So we've had a lot of great times together, and that's how that started. And I'll tell you, the whole signature thing kind of wasn't even my idea. It was a collector's idea, because I would just get cards for the people I managed, that I was their agent. Dan, Doug, Richard Kane Ferguson, Brian, and a couple others. And then I was doing an event. And one of the collectors said, well, Mark, you're going to that event. There's like 7 or 8 other artists at the event. Could you get signatures from them? And then the light bulb went off in my head. Hey, I'm going anyway. Why not add this extra to the business, And that was back when GPs would have maybe 8 artists. It wasn't like today where it's nuts. So that's how that started. And then I started talking to them at the show. I said, well, could we do this by mail instead of having to wait to do it? And they said, sure. And then they would tell their friend artists, say, hey, could really help you out, take all this pressure. People sending you cards left and right from all over. You have envelopes flying all over the house. He'll send it to you once a year, package with all the instructions, and you just got to send it back to him. And then he'll send it all out. And there you go.
Perfect system.
That's how I got here.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I could not do it anymore. I could not grow the business doing it myself. And that's when I hired my daughter. And now that frees me up to just goof around. I'm the figurehead, but I'm the schmoozer. I'm the guy who talks to everybody.
Finding the right high-end cards for legacy, vintage, pre-modern, or old-school Magic can be challenging. That's where our friends 3-for-1 Trading come in.
3-for-1 Trading is one of Europe's top Magic the Gathering retailers with an incredible selection of premium singles, sealed product, and even full sets, all available with free, fast, and secure worldwide shipping.
They add fresh inventory every Wednesday with weekly deals and discounts. So whether you're hunting for that elusive piece of power, a legacy staple, or something spicy for your collection, they've got you covered.
First high-end orders over $500 or €500, use the code EDFREE to get free worldwide shipping.
Check them out now at the number 3, the number 4, the number 1.gg/ED. That link takes you right to the shop and helps support the channel.
Huge thanks to 3-for-1 Trading for supporting the Legacy community. Now back to the show.
So do you play Magic?
Well, I owned a store back from 1992. I taught hundreds of people how to play the game. I mean, literally hundreds of people how to play the game. Nick Detweiler, I believe.
Of course.
Nick used to go to my store.
Amazing.
And I know Nick since probably 1994, 95-ish, if not before that. And so yeah, we were big every Sunday. We used to run booster draft. Every Sunday was booster draft, and we had the whole gang come in, and then then they made Friday Night Magic, and then usually once a month we would do a vintage event. Back then, when you could give a time twister as a prize,
Sure.
and you didn't have to charge like $200 entry to pay for it. That's when you could get a Mox, for $150.
Yeah. I remember we used to still play for ante back in the day.
Yeah, well, I have an ante story. It was pretty much one of the first games that I played in the store. I played with my friend Jakeem, and you turn over your ante card, you don't see it until the end of the game. So we turned it over, and I lost. It was a cockatrice. It happened to be Dan Frazier, and so I cried. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna lose my cockatrice, So Jakeem turned to me. He said, Mark, look, how about we never play ante ever again in the store, because it got more people upset. It already was, the competition was fierce, but now you're losing cards. So then we never played ante ever again.
I played Ante one time. So, of course, like I learned to play in Boy Scouts and I went to a local shop. And, this is 95. So, of course, as a kid, I don't lose any of my cards. So the first thing every kid did when they went to the store, like, we're not playing for Annie, right? Like, because that's just, it was in the rule book. So you had to, like, make sure.
You were afraid. I don't want to lose my card.
But I did, years later, I was, my mom lives in Ohio. So I went to Ohio for a summer and there was this shop that was next to a donut store, Maverick Comics, next to a donut shop in the like local mini mall. And the donut shop, because they were open all night baking, would open up every Wednesday from midnight to like 6 in the morning. I'm like 15, 16 years old. And my mom would drop me off there at midnight and we just play once a week. It was all I could do to play the game.
Yeah.
And so this guy's like, hey, do you want to play for Annie? And I was hot shit at the time. I was like, yeah I've got my mono blue control deck.
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, why not? So his turn one was like, Dark Writ, Hypnotic Spectre. I'm like, we're not playing standard because they had stuff had just rotated out.
Cards.
Yeah. Well, I boomeranged it back to his hand. The next turn I countered what he did. And then he cast, what was it? Not Demonic Attorney, Contract from Below. And I'm like, let me see this. And I'm like, counter spell. I quit. You can have my cards. I don't want to be anning extra cards against you. I didn't know you were playing Annie cards in your deck. Like I'm done. But yeah, no, those early days, man, it was something else. It was like really, especially finding a shop that you could play at was its own thing. And then you'd wander into a store and you'd look through books of cards that you've never seen before. That was like one of the coolest parts of the game initially, is like you would wander in and see stuff you would never seen before.
Yep. I remember, when we first started playing, basically, I really learned how to play. My brother-in-law used to work for the comic distributor that distributed comic books to us. So he would draw.
Was it Alliance Games?
No, it was actually Heroes World. Heroes World. He went to a store and they gave him 2 revised starter decks. So he came home. He lived with us, and he's like, Mark, let's check this out. So we read the rules and everything, and of course, this game is ludicrously addictive and fun. We sat at my dining room table probably for 4 hours, just playing starter deck against starter deck, and then we brought it into the store because John also worked for me, and me and John would be playing like all day behind the counter.
Yep.
So our comic customers would come in and say, oh, what are you doing? And we'd explain to them, and then we'd give them the rule book and say, yeah, check it out and learn. And I used to make like 30 card decks just out of random commons, or I'd make like a green and blue deck, and I'd only be green and blue cards in there that we would sell for like $5. They were all like
did that. Yep, we did that too. In a little jewel case. Here you go.
Well, we'd actually use the team bags, so the resealable team bags.
Nice.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we would show them, and they'd buy 2 of those for $10, and we'd give them the rule book. And then they'd come back. Now they're addicted. They're stuck. So a lot of our comic customers actually transitioned into becoming Magic players and kind of stopped with the comic books. So when we first opened, we were 100% comic books. But then probably by 1995, I'm thinking, we were like 50-50 with Magic. And by, I'd say, 2000, we were like 75 Magic and 25, comic books. Plus, we did like the Star Wars CGC, the TCG.
Oh yeah,
a couple.
Oh yeah, I remember you're talking about the Decipher version.
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah. Oh man, you need to rent it out like a fire hall to play that game. It's so wide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we had got like a super box because we used to break boxes to sell singles, and I actually was breaking a box of starter decks, and there were no uncommons. I think there was supposed to be 11 uncommons in there. Instead, they were rares. So you got, I think it was 2 or 3 rares plus. So we got like 14 rares in a box, and there were like 10 starter decks. So we got like so many Vaders, Lukes, and Obi-Wans. But and then we actually had, because Star Wars got real popular, people were trading their Magic in to me.
A buddy of mine traded his Mox Pearl for a Darth Vader.
Well, there you go. So that's exactly what happened with us, and and I owe a lot to the game. because really the game has brought me now all over the world. I travel with the artists. I had never been out of the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean. That was really the only place I had ever been. But I ended up now, because of Magic, going to England 3 times, France, Amsterdam, and Italy, which I would have never had. And I'm going to go to Amsterdam again next year for MagicCon.
Are you going to Eternal Weekend, Luca, this year?
No, not Luca.
No.
No. I will be going North America. I'll be in North America.
The podcast is going to do 2 Eternal Weekends this year. We'll do Pittsburgh and we're going to do Luca this year.
Exciting. That is exciting.
I've been abroad for Magic twice now. I did like a Grand Prix in Portugal, in Lisbon, in like 2012. And this is the second time we've gone abroad for it. But like, yeah, getting to like travel the world for Magic was like one of the coolest things about the game.
It really is. And it's made me so many friends. I know people. I can pretty much go to almost any country and know I have friends there. If I need somebody, they're there. And of course, the relationships that I have with the artists have been just phenomenal, and a major part of my life. I've helped so many artists, at least I feel I did, and they tell me I've helped them tremendously. Where a lot of, like, if you notice the walls in my house.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
I have a bit of art, but several of those were gifts from artists.
Oh, that's amazing.
Who, as a thank you for all the help that I've done. I've
just got this one Quentin Hoover piece.
I see. I have a Hoover piece. I'll show you my Hoover piece.
Mine's a print. Yours is real.
Oh, yes, mine is real. Yes.
Yeah, let's see it.
This is from the Warhammer TCG.
Sweet.
I don't know. There it is. Yep.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's it. Yeah, I got no room for prints. I got no room for sketches. I had a lot of sketches, but I got no place to put them. Only so much walls, and I can't complain. My wife allows me a lot of space in the house.
Yeah, same. I've got this one room. I can do whatever I want with this one room, but like I've got to contain it.
The one room. I used to have the one room, my office, and that expanded once RK Post, the first time he was coming to my house, and I didn't have, the artwork was in the back office, and I owned Jessica Warrior Adept, which is up on the top there. Did I get her in there? There she is. Yeah, there she is. So we had my brother-in-law Lou was over, and him and my wife were drinking a little bit of wine, and I told Lou the story that I wanted to put the painting out here so it would stand out, because he's coming here. And she was like, no. And Lou's like, starts yelling, "What's wrong with you? Let him hang the painting." So that was, I don't know if you know anything about like military water landings. That was my beachhead.
Nice. Yeah, sure do.
Once Jessica landed and established the beachhead and expanded to the entire...
Then you can get everybody in.
Yeah, then the whole upstairs, over a matter of a relatively short period of time, became my domain.
Eternal Durdles is proud to be sponsored by Moxfield. Moxfield is the best Magic the Gathering deck building website on the internet. You can create, share, and find decks from Commander to Legacy and even fan-supported formats like Pre-Modern and Old School. You can see all of our decks on our Moxfield. Follow the links below to stay tuned. Yeah, this is the thing about my relationship with my wife is that she's always dealt with me as a Magic player. We met in 2012, and by then I was I don't know if you're familiar with the website Hipsters of the Coast.
Yeah, of course.
I created Hipsters of the Coast, so great. I was always writing Magic content, and then I got into the podcasting thing, and I was like, I'm going to start doing this. So it's always this hashing out time and mental space for Magic content and Magic in general. It's always been a part of our relationship. So it's something she accepts, if not sometimes begrudgingly.
Now, when I met my wife, I was a financial planner, and she started working in the office. I was a comic collector. I was buying comic books and comic book art. So she had that. She knew that the nerdness was there. It existed.
Yeah.
And then before we got married, I pretty much said to myself, "Man, I better open up a comic book store before I get married and have no say in the matter anymore." And that's what happened.
Well played. Yes.
Yeah, that's what happened.
So, thinking about, talk to me about what you know about kind of when you onboard, an artist. Let's say an artist comes to you. Tell me about that process.
Well, basically, I mean, I just had one last night come to me. An artist called Rish XXV. He's done probably about 12 magic cards now. And what usually happens is a friend tells them, another artist says, hey, you got to contact Mark and talk with him, and he'll get you set on and he's from Indonesia. I have several magic artists from Indonesia, and I just put up his first proof up in my proof group just today. You checking
Very
for
cool.
him, Rish?
Yeah, I'm checking it. Wow, so he did a few secret layers, and a lot of the stuff from the second Theros set looks like.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Or sorry, the Coldheim set. Coldheim. This is Coldheim.
Coldheim.
Yeah. Very
That's
cool.
definitely his style.
Yeah.
So I put up, was it Coda? I put up a dragon today. Coda, the something or other.
The Cosmos Serpent. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one that's up now. So that's
Very
what happens. And then we arrange once a year the signing, and we'll do all the proofs. And right now we're starting with the auctioning, but eventually we'll just offer, here are the proofs, this is the prices, and this is the price to put artwork on it, depending on what it is. And that's how it's been for like 70 or 80 artists. And if they work traditionally, I usually end up selling their traditional art.
Nice. And so I guess then the other side of that equation is, how do people reach out to you to get these artists' signatures and stuff like that?
Well, if
obviously
you're
I want to include that information below,
yes,
but yeah.
Yes, if you're at all on Facebook and you're in any of the magic art groups, artist proof groups, or signing groups, you know me. But I have a group specifically called Mark's Artist Signature Service and Other Elves and Goblins. And that's where all the posts are with the cost for the signatures, when they're due, and everything. And it's pretty much an everything I do group, where I'll throw stuff on there for everything, just letting the public know, especially like with Magic Cons. They're getting better, but Magic Cons, they don't list the artists who are attending. Sometimes in the past, till like 2 weeks before. They're getting much better now, though. So I would always start a post with the list of all the artists, because I would just put it out there. Guys, anyone's going to MagicCon, let me know so I can put you on the list. And that's how a lot of people learn about it, that they're going to be there. Yeah. But that's the
Awesome.
site to go to if you want to, send in cards of signing. Or you could always just look me up and send me a personal message. I don't mind.
Since you're enjoying the show, please like and subscribe to the video. It helps the channel grow.
Support Eternal Durdles on Patreon so we can create even more content and cover events.
Patreon supporters get an ad-free RSS feed. You can even join our deck donation tier to get your very own episode.
Join the Durdle Maniacs at patreon.com/EternalDurdles. Now back to the show.
And so I guess another interesting question is, do all the artists do you have like one time of year that everyone's doing the signings? Or do you stagger it through? Or
no? Well, no. It's like on the due dates are on the 1st and the 15th almost every month, and each one will be there's like whatever 10 to 15 artists for each one of those due dates, and then they'll usually repeat similar timing the next year, unless there's a convention, unless there's a con, and then that's like a blip. Whatever's there is going to be on there.
Final question here. In your room, what's your favorite piece? I know it's like choosing between children right now. But...
No. That's a great question. Because I have a few that are like tied. All right, so I'll show it to you, see if I can get it in there. This angel, it's not a magic piece, but it's Michael C. Hayes, who has done magic cards. That's a biggie for me. This is a Dan Frazier.
Well, dude, the Jester's cap.
Now, that's not the actual Jester's cap.
No, it's not.
That is a painting of Richard Garfield. It's a portrait of Richard Garfield.
That's so cool.
Dan had done a photo shoot with him and asked him, how does he see himself? And he said he sees himself as the grand jester or the grand gamester to the public. So that's why he painted them as similar, with the same kind of cap and a little different colors. All right. And then Jessica.
Of course.
So it's really those are my three probably favorites of actual, based on the art. But then there are others that, oh, this is actually pretty cool too. Donato Giancola,
Nice.
or
That's Fireman Angel, right?
Raza or something like that
Okay.
from Ravnica.
Yep.
But this is actually the original painting, not the painting that was used for the card,
Okay.
because it's a little risque.
Oh yeah.
Wizards asked him, "Can you repaint that with the left leg up and the right leg back, so the left leg with the knee covers the
Yeah.
parts?" So he was like, heck with that. I'm just going to repaint it because I like this one. So if the colors, the background colors are different on this than the other one,
I
and the
see.
legs are in different positions. So that's also another favorite. But those are my big ones. And then I have some that are favorites, not because of what they look like, but because of what they were. Certain gifts. I remember I got Port Inspector from Dan as a total surprise in the mail
Oh wow.
for my birthday.
Oh,
This is
that's
early
amazing.
on. I've had it for years. That, and then we got Richard Kane Ferguson gave me this one.
Oh, that's sweet.
That was, I think it was a game that the cards were kind of tall, Illuminati or something like that. I forget. So that's another biggie. Ryan Wackwitz gave me this one, the big piranha fish. Yep. And Vulcan gave me this one.
Oh yeah.
We had done GP Manchester in England, and that was, we did just so incredibly well, and he liked to bring one original painting to each event, but if it didn't sell at the end, he'd take it home. So he was like, Mark, I know you love this painting, I don't want to pack it up, you take it home.
That's so nice.
And that's it. So things like that have personal meaning for me.
Yeah.
Jessica has a lot of meanings for me besides being one of my favorites. It was RK was really the first person, the first magic artist I had in my house at the store, and that kind of started me on doing this. So it means a lot for that. We had some medical bills many years ago that I ended up having to sell a lot of my stuff, and Jessica was one of them, and I was lucky enough to be able to buy it back
Nice.
to make me feel whole again.
Yeah.
And so that's it. That's
Very cool.
it is tough to say which is my favorite, but I put those three together because they are my favorite. So I'm usually sitting in the seat by the couch by the window, and I'm looking that way.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
that's why I put them together there.
Very cool. Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure talking to you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. We got to have you come on again, maybe after what's called Eternal Weekend.
Yeah. Well, definitely come say hello.
I will, of course.
I can't say what artists will be there. That's not released yet.
Fair enough.
But we got some goodies. Some one that has not been to a show in the United States in, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years.
Oh,
maybe.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, again, thanks so much, man.
You're
really
quite
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Have a great day.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button.
You can also support us on patreon.com/EternalDurdles, which now offers the new Deck Donation tier. I'll play literally whatever you want.
So brew your spiciest or stock us up with a stock list.
I'll literally play whatever you want.
Thanks for watching.